We are back, guys. What's going on?
Well, we had an interesting stint with Jared over the last 2 weeks.
We did.
We aren't going to get into all the nitty gritty details, but the short of it is after a 2-week-long mystery fever, it turns out his appendix had ruptured and created a 20-week-old pregnant woman's size abscess. Yum. Inside of him. So
that I didn't feel.
That he didn't feel, which is the craziest part, but that's why his body had a freaking fever. So he ended up in the hospital for 5 days?
Yeah. Crazy.
That was wild.
I'd never been in the hospital
with
before.
A drain inside of Jared.
Yeah, in my back.
Yeah. So after being told to just go home over a 2-week period from urgent care and even an ER visit, we were like, no, we got to advocate for ourselves and something is not right.
But then I felt like the bump in my abdomen. I was laying in bed and I was like, wait, this is
Which you're
weird.
lucky you did.
Then we went in, we're like, we got to go back in. And then they did a CT scan. They're like, oh yeah, you have a abscess by your appendix. We need to take a look at this. So anyway, as soon as they got the infection out, it was crazy. I started feeling 100% better. Fever went down.
Crazy.
Went home. I'm feeling 100%.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
So in like 8 to 12 weeks, we can get the whatever's left of your
appendix.
Potentially obliterated
Which
appendix.
I've never had any surgery, guys. So
we will get that removed.
Yeah.
So, and it takes 8 to 12 weeks because they have to allow.
They want like things to calm down.
Yeah,
and
everything to heal safely.
So anyway, that's where we haven't posted a podcast episode in a couple weeks.
We didn't think you guys would want to see us in the hospital.
We could have done one in the hospital.
But I mean, the pour healthcare team.
The nurses are like, what are you doing? You can't do this.
Yeah.
So anyway, as you can see, Ashley copied my outfit today.
I'm sorry, but that is actually incorrect, Jared.
I copied yours. No, we planned to wear this because we're
like that older couple that literally always matches.
We usually do half the time.
Yeah.
But what are we wearing?
So this is a message from our girl Allie Eats in our group. Matcha is a Luxury, her merch brand, and it has expanded her brand and business. She's known for her love of matcha around San Francisco.
And you got to check out the back.
It's sick. She and her husband.
Can you see that?
Yep, Matcha is a Luxury. Really designed cool. Super
comfortable.
Yep, together, and also off of kind of a funny situation that had happened. We won't get into all the details, but that her husband, David, had pranked her on social, I don't know, a few months ago, and then kind of left it at govern yourselves accordingly. It makes sense. Like if you know, you know. So it's also kind of a step in the direction of expanding her brand and business, which is what we talk about a lot with creators, even thinking into 2026 and beyond. That's what this podcast and show today is about, is really just a conversation around how creators are thinking of the future and how we see the creator economy unfolding and kind of where creators are building their brands and businesses. And this is a representation of expanding on something you're known for and then building a community around that. But also, you guys, we love our merch here. We love our brand at Iconic, which we have the sickest holiday merch.
Oh my gosh,
about
guys.
to drop.
Oh my gosh.
And we're going to
wait until you see it.
Yeah. So we share that out with our creators and also our top brand and agency partners each year. And then we will also have a little spot on our website too, if you guys want to be part of the Fox fam. So we'll have just a limited edition of units over there. But the thing that I wanted to mention is when you're building merch and building a brand separate from just yourself as a creator, don't overlook the quality of the actual blanks brands that you go with. It takes some time, takes some research, and even who you go with as a decorator, meaning who's like screen printing or embroidering it or doing puff print.
Now we get it. Sometimes it's like cost prohibitive to go higher quality, but like and the main thing is like whatever the story is or the brand is, it's fine. If you can't afford or don't want to pay for the nicest, most elevated, crew necks or hoodies or whatever, that's fine. But like make sure that the branding makes sense and is on point.
Yeah.
And that your customer service and like delivery is on point and people are happy.
As high quality as you can get it though, the better, because then people will actually want to wear it.
So this episode is really about where we see creators going in the future. We're going to give some advice. But yeah, it's funny. We're like at this interesting time in the creator industry now that, you know, creators have been doing this. I mean, some bloggers will say, I've been doing this for a decade. But really, like, I'd say maybe in the last 5 years when influencer marketing really started to take off, like around 2019, 2020, really started to take off. And now it's been 5 or 6 years, and it's like, okay, now some creators are like, what do I do? Like, where do I see myself in 20 years? Well, like, am I going to be doing this forever?
Some don't want to do this forever. Oftentimes, creators, the best creators, aren't even really planning to be a creator to begin with. And I think that's also kind of the key here is when you're not trying to be a content creator, you often build one of the best brands too. But at a certain point, it's kind of like, okay, well, do I want to show up and be front facing forever? Or do I want to build something that kind of lasts beyond me?
Yeah. And I think there's so many different ways that creators can take it. Even now, like we're seeing, I think, especially a couple of years ago, it was like, okay, what do? Oh, you might start like a capsule collection, or like you might sell some merch. But now it's expanded into, you know, creators are writing books. They're showing up on, you know, TV shows and streaming networks.
Or creating their own originals. Or they are building their own capsule collection that's a serious capsule collection. Right. Or even Kate in our group, she's building her own bikini line from scratch.
Or Erin on Demand. She has a physical like planner book. Yeah. So I think it's expanded beyond just physical like t-shirts.
Goods,
So it's interesting to see. It's like creators are building beyond just their brand deals. But I think for a while, and I think we'll see this for forever, honestly, in the creator space. I mean, this has been around forever with athletes and musicians.
Right.
Celebrities are like
endorsements,
brand endorsements. And I think you're still going to see a lot of creators' revenue coming from brand deals.
Good creators.
But then even building out these kind of extensions to your brand don't necessarily have to replace your brand deal revenue, but like they end up bringing back brand deals because now new brands are attracted to you. Maybe you start working in a different industry or niche, and then brands want to work with you because you have this, you know, you're doing a bikini line like Kate.
Yeah. And I think the big thing with Kate is she's been known for body positivity and being open from an recovered eating disorder, and now making food approachable. She's also creating a space for women to feel good in their bikinis, which no bikini fits well except her collection. So I think the big thing here is, I mean, is there a shelf life on content creators? Is there a shelf life on individual content creators? What is your thought?
I have a thought, but what's your thought though on that?
I do think that there is a shelf life on quite a few content creators. Those who are not thinking ahead fast enough and pivoting and trying new things and evolving quick enough, meaning like you're not trying new things with your content, you're not trying new things with your audience. Think about your audience is not staying stagnant in their lives. They're evolving their personal lives. And so if you're not evolving your social media presence and also expanding opportunity when you see it and taking action, I think that just natural human nature too is to talk about things a lot, but not necessarily take action on them, because it's scary to actually do something about something, put whether it's time or money or bet on yourself behind something. I think that it's always a scary thought. So oftentimes we've seen creators over the years who hold themselves back from not trying a new style of content, to not starting the line that they wanted to start, to not taking a chance on really building out an opportunity to be able to write a cookbook. So ultimately, I do think that there is a shelf life on creators who are not evolving their brand and business fast enough. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean, I knew we always think the same.
Just like you copied my outfit, you're going to copy my answer.
But I do agree. I think creators that are still doing the same thing that they did 3 years ago and the same kind of content, I think, and I get it, I think what happens is some creators get really comfortable in that lifestyle of like, they kind of find their groove, their routine with shooting content. They post a certain number of posts per week, and they tend to be the same style for years. And I think if you don't force yourself to get uncomfortable sometimes, and whether that's shooting content differently or editing differently or showing other aspects of your life,
talking
or like getting out of the house sometimes.
Yeah.
All of this matters because it's like eventually there is a shelf life if you're just doing the same thing. And then brands and agencies, they want something new and fresh sometimes. That's why they want to work with different creators a lot of times. Like we've heard that from agencies. They're like, we love working with this person. We've been working with them for years, but we want something fresh and new. So as a creator, if you're still doing the same thing over and over, then it even makes it harder for brands and agencies to feel like you're fresh and new. You gotta change it up sometimes.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that someone has to be not real for themselves. Like it doesn't mean you have to force content that's not natural, but it does mean like if you're just showing up and doing the same thing every single day, it doesn't move the needle forward in fresh and original ways. Just like with any brand, if they're not trying new things and evolving that, then it starts to become a bit like, I've seen that before.
Yeah. And I think being like strategic and smart about it and experimenting, but not going overboard where it's like you're always doing something so
where
different.
It feels chaotic.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, we talked about this before. You've mentioned this too, where it's like creators need to, they need to be creating content that's also evolving with their life.
Yes.
So like, you know, especially people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, like those are big life kind of milestone changes. You know, people are getting their first job or like getting out of college for the first time. Then they're home, they're getting engaged, they're getting married, or they're moving across country, or they're living on their own for the first time or in a different city. There's all these new things that are happening during those stages. And so it's like you have to also be evolving in terms of your content like that. And I think that's also an easy way to show parts of your life that are like part of the stage that you're in when it comes to where you are in life versus feeling like I got to keep showing what I used to do 5 years ago.
Yes.
And people are like, wait, I never knew you had a kid, or like, I never knew you were married, or like, I never knew you lived in this really cool city. You never show that city. And it's because, well, they're still doing like fashion hauls in their house. And it's like, well, this is why brands aren't working with you anymore.
Well, here's the thing. That worked at one time.
Yeah.
But I think that it's completely fine to say everyone in my life wants to stay off social media. That's totally fine. But the reality is at a certain point, people start to not really have that connection with those types of creators.
Yeah.
And in certain small percentage of people can make that work.
Yeah.
But the reality is that doesn't work for the most part.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is to keep all this other, like your kind of like life separate from your social media presence. Again, that will only work for a small percentage of people because it just works for them. And they were in the right place at the right time, or they had just kind of the right community set up and the right kind of aesthetic and just that thing that works. But for the most part, audiences and brands are people at the end of the day. And so they want to see something that feels like where their life is at as they grow with you. And so I think that's where creators, oftentimes we hear it, even creators applying to our group who are like, I keep all of that separate from my Instagram presence. And to us, it keeps it surface. It does. It is tough to then have a community who really resonates or really relates to your style of content.
And I think also it almost like makes it.
The fuck is that?
Oh, it's a ladybug.
Okay.
All right. We just had a ladybug fly by and we were like, what is that?
I was like, where did that come from? That doesn't mean that you have to show every single detail of your life. I think that's the biggest misconception too, is that by being more real and more honest of what's happening, you can't have like a aesthetic brand, or you can't have some level of privacy. Like you should absolutely, like this, again, 60-second videos are nothing really, if you think about it in the scheme of your life and each week and each day. So, but there are ways to pepper in those real angles to what is making you an expert in what you're then guiding your community around, by peppering those aspects in, or peppering storylines in that are real. Yeah. And I think, or creating content off of what's these situations that are happening in your life. But if no one's ever seeing really any of that. They don't feel it. And then, there is a shelf life on that. And we're seeing it. We saw it in 2026. Well, we're not there yet, but we're seeing it.
We think far ahead.
I already see it. But we saw it this year faster than ever, that this industry it really ruled out the people who really weeded them out really quick, of those who have been reliant on kind of the past working for them
and haven't changed. Like they're kind of doing that. They have this like persona online, versus again bringing their community with them through life. And again, like you said, you can still have the privacy, but it's like, and also at the end of the day, it's like, are you happy? You know, that's the biggest thing as a creator. Are you happy having these two different personas? Or as the creators that we see who are the most successful and get the most brand deals and are the happiest and excited about what they do, it doesn't feel like a burden for them to create content, because they're just, it's part of what they're already doing and like bringing their community along in their life.
If you're feeling like this is just like a job, that is not a outlook that will last in the creator economy, in any creative economy. It just won't, because at the core of creativity is like heart and passion and excitement for what you're creating. It's what we're so excited about, building our brand and building our business and helping our creators see bigger picture and like work towards that. If you're just showing up to just try to make the next paycheck or land the next brand deal just to make a larger than normal paycheck than you would at a 9-to-5 job anywhere else, it will not last forever. And also, I want to say this, the creators who take it for granted, we also saw that this year, of meaning that if they've taken their brand partnerships and the ability to make great money in this space, like if you're making solid 6 figures, that's wild in this space. I mean, like you're in the 1% of the space, and largely everyone in our group is making that. And it's also because there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes put into each person's brand and business, even put into our brand and business. But we have a genuine passion for this space and the human connection behind that. So treating any brand partnership like it's just a shoe-in, like it's just expected that brands should just pay you whatever you want, is not going to work in the future. So I think just being really humble when you are getting these brand partnerships, like we never expect that brands have to pay the creators in our group. We nurture those relationships and we have a very strong foot in the door because of the fact that we make it easy to work with us and our creators. But the creators, it's like the creators who are not in our group, who have treated it like they're lucky to work with me, it should be a two-way street. It really should. When you're working with great partners, because ultimately if they have an edit or if they have another round of edits and they're not being unreasonable, now there are the teams out there that should not be taking advantage of the creators, and we put our foot down for that, but really treat it with excitement. Also create the same level of work that you would create for your organic content within paid content, because brands can feel that you genuinely care. Your audience can also tell. When you half-ass something, your audience is going to be able to see that. So again, we're saying all of this because it should be encouraging to the people who are putting the reps in and putting the work in, that even though this year was a tougher year, those creators will continue to stand out. We literally were just on a podcast or a webinar with W Promote, one of our good agency partners, the other day with Chef Riley, which we'll link in the description box below. But it was around the creator flywheel, and we won't get into all the details behind that. But a big consensus is that they want to work with creators who are really excited to be here. And that does stand out to them at a human level, because these are humans working behind the scenes. So anyway, and even Chef Riley was talking about how like he is genuinely passionate about.
Oh, he loves what he does.
Sorry, Gemma has to say hi today.
She wants to make a cameo appearance.
Not leave me alone right now. Okay. So yeah, I think also we talked about how the hot take at the end of that W Promote webinar was that moving into 2026 and beyond, there are not that many amazing creators. Yeah. So the good news is if you are an incredible creator and you do have a really great purpose and outlook and reason why you want to show up on social and build a brand and build a community, you can stand out. That's the positive in all of this. And then the other piece of this is you got to move fast. Yeah. So you can't hold yourself back. Don't hold yourself back by second guessing. And oftentimes creators can start with their expertise creating a service-based business. So things like if you are really great with your personal style, you could provide personal styling services to your community. If you are really great with hosting, you can provide that as a service. I think oftentimes creators are thinking in physical goods so often, which we love, a physical good, a merch line, product line, cookbook. All of that is awesome. But think about even just using your time, because oftentimes that's the barrier of entry, the finance piece of it. But you can build, just based on your time, you can build revenue streams for yourself that then can open up into your own collection, your own fashion label, because then you can fund it with your service-based business that made you money, and also your brand deals that have made you money, and maybe some affiliate revenue, and then turn it into a small capsule drop that then builds on itself. So I think it's very easy to get caught in the game of like, I see this creator already at this point, but there's always, and we've said this a million times, you've heard this before, there are always going to be people ahead of you and people behind you. You got to stay in your lane, and you have to stay focused, and you have to move quick. In this day and age in the creator economy, don't wait years to start that next kind of segment for yourself, whether that's in content creation and trying something new, or it's with a website or with your Substack, or expanding in social media, or having your own small merch line that you drop, or having a service that you offer.
And I think too, I think part of that is if you're a creator and you're feeling like you're kind of waiting around for brand deals, you're posting organic content, but each week you're like, okay, are there any brand deals coming in? That's a point when you need to be thinking about, what am I doing next? Because you shouldn't be feeling like you're sitting around for brand deals. You should have other things that you're working on that are keeping you busy throughout the week that you're building. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean each of those projects or things that your extensions to your brand have to be making money right away, or even making money immediately. Yes. Because again, having these other things that you're doing will bring brand deals back to you, and new opportunities kind of grow from you just expanding or doing like a supper club, for example. Supper clubs, it's hard to make money on those. It's like, after the food costs and the time and resources, and then by the time people don't want to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a supper club, but they'll pay money to like kind of cover the cost of the food and the place, wherever, if you're having it at your own place or somewhere that you're renting. It's like, at the end of the day, the supper club itself is growing your network. Brands are seeing that. They're getting ideas of ways that they could collaborate with you, even though the supper club is not making you tons and tons of money. So,
and maybe it will.
And maybe it will. It could turn into that, or it could turn into a brand, or you write a cookbook about how to do supper clubs.
Exactly. So I think the biggest thing is, don't chase the money first. Chase what you're really good at and passionate about. Because it could even be, I even saw a creator the other day who, I don't remember what her handle was, but I saw that she's now offering event photography services, not just wedding photography, but like actual event photography, because it's a passion of hers, and she's really good at the content creation side, and she's actually she's actually building out a photography side of her business. And it's not just like, oh, I have to do that to make money, but she's like really talented with it and cares a lot about that side, and is also teaching people skills around her gear and also how to shoot, and it's tying back into her brand. But then she also has this lifestyle brand,
and then more opportunities come from doing this.
And again, that's her time, and yes, the gear costs money, but it's also her time and landing some clients. And maybe it's something where when people are like, well, how would I even start that? We all have a friend, or you have a creator friend who needs some help. It's also just like, sometimes you have to just put the work in without even making a dime up front. Even when we got started, that is in large part how we started to evolve in the space is putting the reps in up front. That then led to... It takes
a lot of work, for sure.
Yes.
But even starting small, especially as a creator, if you want to start something on the side, just start small, keep it simple. It doesn't have to be this full-blown business plan. It doesn't even have to be a business. It can just be an extension of you as a creator, but offering these things, ways that you can help people or your community that people are asking you about, is just a way to, and I think, so it's almost like, don't think about, expanding just your revenue. Think about expanding your brand, and then the revenue and the brand deals come from that.
That's a really good thing to keep in mind.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say, just as a follow-up, what you were saying, and I know what you meant when it comes to saying there aren't many good creators out there. Really what we're talking about, because actually we talk about this a lot, is more so, and we talked about this on the webinar, is that there are just more people in the creator economy now. There are more people saying that they're creators, and we love that. Like, we want, obviously it's exciting to see new up and coming creators and people getting into this space, but we mean there are the people that we talk to and a lot of creators that we see who want management or just want brand deals. There are a lot of people who view it as just like a quick money grab, and they're just trying to do it.
They're not doing it for the right reasons. Yeah. That's what we mean, is there's a lot of like, I want to be an influencer. And I'm like, of what?
Yeah.
What do you want to influence people on?
Right.
What's your purpose?
And they just want to look pretty, or they just want to like take, nice photos of themselves and post them. And they're like, well, brands, who are you pitching me to? Or like, I've been pitching brands and like, they should work with me. And like, that was the mentality that worked 5 years ago, but now it's completely different. And again, the creators who are doing it right, they want to make a difference. They want to work collaboratively with brands. They want to be flexible and open-minded. And they work with good teams like us.
Yeah. And they also put in a lot of free, incredible content and resources for their community. And I mean, it's the same thing as even Riley. It's like I think he said the other day that he's put out over 1,000 free recipes that are original recipes, all incredible, produced, shot, and connected for the community. So yeah, his $32 cookbook that, by the way, he's put 3 years of work into this baby. That is it. When people are like, well, why should I have to pay for that? Why? Yeah. I'm like, well, think about all of this free work that he's put in and the reps that he's put in. And that the same can be said for many of our other creators who have really put out there really high quality, incredible content to connect and to serve as a resource to the community. That's what we mean when we are seeing creators who almost dilute the industry because they're just here to be a pretty face and they don't have a bigger impact and they don't have a bigger purpose. So if you're feeling like that, that is not the type of energy that is going to sustain a long-term brand and business for a creator. And it's something to be realistic about. And that's something that is a message that we want to put out there because we want the great creators who are really doing this with a real purpose and want to build cool long-term brands in this space that have high impact to the community. We want to see that. We want to see more of that. So having that outlook, and hopefully this podcast and show today has helped some people and almost the mindset of building your brand in the space as a content creator. Brand partnerships are important. Revenue is essential, but all of these other activities around the purpose, the reason why, and also acting quick and not coming up with excuses. Like when you see an opportunity, jump on it, build on it, use your time,
and be
even
flexible.
If you don't have the funds, be flexible. Yeah. And you'll see the success. So
the revenue will come back.
Exactly.
These extensions to your brand, doing things that you love, being excited about it, putting in passion into that and energy into it, and like doing the right thing versus the people who we see just chasing money. They're always chasing money. They're always stressed. They're not really that happy. They don't have a good team around them. They're always like trying to find the next best thing. And I'm like, do you want that life where you never feel settled and excited and happy and passionate and have a vision for the future? Or do you want to be like Chef Riley, who loves what he does. He's excited about the future.
He's a good person.
He's a good person.
He works hard.
He attracts good people.
He attracts great brands.
Good people attract good people.
Yep, it's true. So this is a podcast and this is a show for the creators out there who really do have that same mentality. And I think it's also the Fox fam, just in general, the types of people that the energy that our group tends to attract is that. So hopefully this is motivating for the creators out there who have that substance-based outlook to their brand
about the future.
Yeah.
Because we get creators who are like, they're like, what is this going to be around in 5 years? Is the creator economy?
It will be.
Yes.
But you may not be if you're not thinking this way. And if you don't have that
100% be a successful creator, entrepreneur, business owner for years and decades to come if you just think about what we talked about today in this episode.
And your business should look different in 5 years.
Yeah,
it should look different than it did 5 years ago. So yes, hopefully you guys got good little tangible takeaways from this episode. And if you guys have any questions on this episode or thoughts around it, or even topics that you want to see us cover in the upcoming episodes, please be sure to shoot us a DM or leave us a comment below, and we will see you in the next episode.
See ya.